future civilizations are going to look back at what's going on in Canada right now and go, what the hell happened to Western civilization? The fact that you would politically that you would base your society on so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion is so ridiculous. When you think about it for more than 3 seconds, diversity, what does that mean? There's a hell of a lot of cases of poor diversity. If I'm having a discussion with 5 people and 3 of them are stupid and have no idea what they're talking about and cannot contribute meaningfully to the conversation, then that diversity means nothing. It's not an inherently good or bad thing. Diversity can mean billions of different combinations of things, not inherently good or bad. If we want to live in a meritocratic society, it has to be all about who has the best ideas, free marketplace of ideas, free marketplace, free in terms of economy, and the cream rises to the crop. That's how Western civilization was built. The idea that it's inherently good to have a diverse workforce or whatever it may be, and in order to enforce this diversity, the government jumps in and says that you must fill these quotas, is so anti-Western civilization. It's the idea that you would be selected for a job, your role in society, whatever it may be, based on your skin color, your gender, your sexual orientation, is the exact opposite of the meritocratic values that founded Western civilization. So diversity means nothing. It's not inherently good or inherently bad. Equity, equity just means the same. So what can you expand on that? When you say the same, everybody is wildly different. Everybody's abilities are wildly different. Everybody's brain power is wildly different. The idea that you can somehow have enforced equity in a society is ridiculous. When you live in these massive societies, these massive countries that we have today with tens of millions of people living on top of one another in cities, the idea that you can somehow enforce the same results for everybody, that just sounds like communism. And we all know how that ends. We all know how communism ends. It'll be interesting to see what happens in New York with Mom Donnie. But the equity piece, the enforced equity, is just another way of, it's so ridiculous. Everybody should have an opportunity, but people who are gifted in certain areas should be able to focus on their gifts and talents. It's just, the idea that everybody's going to have the same result is insane. And then inclusion. Again, another one of these filler words. And now we're seeing all throughout government, we're seeing this in the private sector a lot, but certainly all over government, is these enforced quotas, where more and more in our government you're seeing roles posted and them filling up. I don't think people understand how heavily involved DEI is involved with every aspect of Canada's government, and them needing to ensure they have enough to fill every quota. And it's just the opposite of meritocracy, and you see it in the results. The IRS in the US has 80,000 staff for a country of 360 million, 350 million, whatever it is. Canada, we have 60,000 CRA staff in a country of 42 million. So we only have 20,000 fewer tax collection staff, and I would argue ours are more inefficient. There's some crazy stats. Everybody knows how inefficient the government is. The government in Canada has absolutely ballooned in size. So at the same time as the Liberal Party has ballooned the government in size, the Canadian government is as large as it's ever been. It's a behemoth right now. It's a big part of the reason we have a $78 billion deficit, is the sheer size of the Canadian government. which these far left always want to continue to grow. So they make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And of course, as it continues to get larger and larger and larger, as many major studies show, it continues to get more inefficient and more inefficient and more inefficient. And you combine how large it's getting with these DEI quotas, and the fact that they're not hiring people on a meritocratic basis. They're not hiring people based on the knowledge that they are the best for the role they're looking for. They're filling quotas. And there have been so many studies that the quality of work decreases at these institutions that implement these DEI hiring practices. Again, anti-meritocratic. And anybody who has been in a work environment knows that the HR departments these days, it pervades the entire society. It's the LGBTQ woke flag is tyranny in 2025. It's get in line or get out of the way. I think the vast majority of Canadians know exactly what I'm talking about. Extremely politically correct, always having to watch over your back in an increasingly larger number of Canadian institutions. So the Liberal Party of Canada continues to implement these DEI practices all across our government and even in our military. The head of the military was just out crying about alleged past racism. This woman is supposed to be in charge of Canada's military, and she's out here crying about alleged past racism. It's ridiculous. It's a farce. It makes a mockery of our service members. World War I, World War II, Vimy Ridge, the Canadian soldiers were always known as the most courageous. So is the idea that now it's all about DEI and identity politics, and that has nothing to do with what Canada was founded on. Canada was founded on a courageous, tough northern people who came and settled a very extremely difficult land that despite what the far left will tell you, it was not exactly a peace party here when the settlers arrived, nor was it anything like what it is today. It was not a developed civilization. And they arrived, and it had been 1,000 years of war. It's not as though it was a friendly place to be. And it's not as if they I can't get into all that right now, but this DEI garbage absolutely spits in the face of Canada's real history. I mean, to get rid of it, get rid of it from our society now. It's a disgrace. Please like, share, subscribe, join, become a member, donate, grab some gear. Appreciate everybody who supports.